Welcome to the colony, where we have three generations of nerdy guys talking about stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the colony. I'm Michael, Corey, and Mitch. Um, we talk about a lot of different things, and today we're going to be talking about, or in this episode, times that the community, uh, the robot building community has come through for us. We're going to share one of our stories, uh, just to let you know that how connected that we do get. But before we start, I'm going to kick it over to Mitch because he's got something important to say.
Yeah, it's actually fitting that we're talking about community today because the combat robotics community, we recently lost one of our, I'd say, greatest members. A couple of weeks ago, we all learned that Alex Richmond, a member of my team I'm on, Team Stamina, active online, had tragically very suddenly passed away. Alex was kind of the definition of a combat robotics community member. I like to describe him as friend to many, teacher to even more, and then an inspiration to all. He was just absolutely incredible when it came to his robot designs, and he had made it a point to share whatever he knew. He was a teacher. He ran classes. You could ask him anything about any of his robots, and he'd be sending you paragraphs showing you all of his little neat tricks. He actually posted on GradCAD all of his designs and told anyone you're more than welcome to go ahead and build these. Now he would he'd be sure to tell you if there was a design on there that you probably shouldn't build, but he definitely, to me, Alex was the perfect representation of our community as a whole. He will absolutely be missed by all of us in the community.
So, Corey, I've been doing a lot of talking tonight, man. Why don't you kick this one off after that? Okay.
Um, well, I mean, first and foremost, I think I'm biased. I think Team Pandemonium, I'm very thankful that they welcomed me with open arms to kind of accept my weirdness and my obsession with this robotic sport that we all share to a certain degree. Um, yeah, I get excited from time to time and I'll share my pictures in the Discord. Um, but I mean, all the big moments, taking out Emulsifier, with the team standby, and making sure I was mentally prepared for whatever was being thrown next. I thought they definitely came in clutch when it came to like, because without them, definitely wouldn't have been where I was that day. It wasn't just one specific person, it was a collective of everyone, and I'm very thankful for that, among many other memories.
I'll say
So,
that. Oh,
go
go
ahead,
right ahead.
Mitch. No,
I'll, I'll so I'm personally on Team Stamina. Mainly kids, teenagers, young adults. Um, we probably average out to be the youngest team at NHRL, although we're all getting older. Um, and what I'll say is that every event that I've gone to that I compete at, I stay with members of Team Stamina. In hotel rooms, I've been to houses before. And having a community like that, having a team or even just a group of friends, I would consider the colony to be a perfect example of that. Having a group of people to surround yourself with at a combat robotics event is truly incredible. Having that opportunity to go and um, have people there that you can trust, you can talk to, you can get help if you need it. The amount of times I've had members of Team Stamina or Team Pandemonium, at my pit table soldering along with me, Um, just having the community beside you in something that's technically a competition, it's just incredible.
You, you know, one of the things that I think about is that we build our robots. We put so much of it ourselves into them. You know, they're kind of a reflection of ourselves in one way, and you can see the diversity of the whole community through the robots and through the and through the builders. I don't think there's one group of people that is not involved in combat robotics. You know, I don't think, you know, there's a representative from just about every community.
Yeah.
Um, and you put yourself out there, and if things don't go right, say at a competition, people will gather around you that you may have nothing else in common with, and they'll give you like emotional support, you know, whatever you need at that point. There was one point that there's a couple I can really think of. The first one was I was having a miserable little stretch in my real life, you know, my 9 to 5. And even my wife and I, we were coming down to the event, and it was on an ice storm. Like we were riding the front of an ice storm. You know, it was kind of a interesting ride all the way there. I got there, and my morality was pretty low on, you know, on just a lot of things. Tom Farkas looked at me and said, "Mike, how is it that you look more amazing every time I see you?" And the you know, and nobody's ever like, you know, I don't think anybody's phrased it that way before, you know. And so driving down on a storm, all this other stuff, all the other BS from my 9 to 5 life kind of melted away with that comment. You know, now like Corey and Mitch are two guys that I talk to the most about what happens in my own personal life and my real life. And I'm very thankful for that. I wouldn't have these guys if it weren't for combat robotics. And like even Mitch, you talk about the colony, and Corey helped resurrect it in a way, you know, because I had it as a team and didn't really take off the way I wanted it to. But it was supposed to be representation, kind of like much like Team Pandemonium is. You know, just having fun, experimenting with things. And I think, and I'm thankful for them for sure. You know, being a part of being a panda is crazy, you know, but also this colony thing that we're doing, having our podcast, having the robot, and it really kind of makes me happy for an idea that I had to kind of take root and flourish, you know, at least this far. You know, so I'm thankful for, I mean, like for you guys and for like the community in a whole, because they will be there for you. And then because it also come around to where you'll be there for someone, and that's the flip side of the coin. And you can feel just as good being there, being that sounding board for someone else. And that's
And
really, I feel, kind of the glue of it.
yeah, I think combat robotics and robotics in general it's a very interesting sport because there isn't another sport where your competitors that you're fighting against will be uh, next to you in the pits trying to troubleshoot your robot's problems because winning a match because someone has a faulty robot is not fun. It's not what we want. We want big hits, we want spectacular shows, and we want to fight someone at their best. So if I'm fighting Mike and we want a good show, we want a good show. I'll be in the pits trying to help him get his robot to be 100% because it's going to put on a good show and I know I'm fighting him at his best. So I don't think there is any other sport where your competitor is going to give you a helping hand. Um, and so even some such as like show you under the hood of your robot. This is what my robot's all about and all that. Yeah, you'll get the competitor people that will be very sneaky about it, but that's only the small percentage. Kind of reflecting on the community, I remember at the last event I was at, Lars was fighting with Nataloid, and Buffy just came up and sat next to me, and we were chit-chatting, and I was like saying how I've known Lars, I want to say since like 2020 or 2021. So it's been about 4 years. And seeing him grow up from a kid, he's still a kid, but a young adult. Seeing him grow up in the 4 years has been amazing because he's matured to an extent. I mean, we're all immature children at hearts, but it's been fun seeing him grow and actually find his self in the sport. And I must say he's a phenomenal driver. Like he built a robot that was out of Funbot and he made it competitive. I mean, that in itself is a very great thing. And I was giving him praise to his mom, and I think he deserves it. It wasn't like I was trying to say things that weren't true just to the mom. No, it's what I've observed over the years of knowing Lars, and it's stuff like that in the community that's just awesome to see as we're growing year after year, seeing how we're growing into the people that we want to become.
Yeah, I have a bit of a story here, if that's okay. Um, when I was running Yakety Yak, is my second time running Yakety Yak, and I was not ready. I had parts coming in on Wednesday, and we left Friday. I remember Christine was interviewing a lot of people who were competing at this event, and people were showing their robots on camera, and all I had to show for it was a single piece of UHMW. Um, and
Well,
so I remember all of a sudden my 3D printer decides that because I'm about to go compete at a Combat Robotics event and because I'm rushing prints off of it, let's die. The printer died. I don't have a 3D printer. I don't have all the parts I need for my robot. So I mentioned this in a server that we're all part of, the Outside of the Box server. Um, and I get a message from the lovely Matt Lantry. Hey, what do you need? And I sent him the files. He printed me all the parts and sent them over to me. And I I think that just shows Matt was fighting in the 3-pound division that day. He very well could have just said, nope, sorry to hear that. And that would have been completely fine. But the combat robotics community has something special where they actively go. Everyone wants to get into the cage with a functional robot. People don't want to win because their opponent doesn't work. They want to win because their robot works. And I think that's really something that shines out in the combat robotics community, much more than a lot of other sports and competitions.
so any other stories you guys want to share about how the community came through for you or how you were able to be there for someone?
Um,
Corey,
I
you're always there for me. There you go.
um, one that really hits close to home. There's this person in the community, by Nicole or Cole. Um, I just remember the mom reaching out to me, asking for kind of a mentor, and I jumped on it. It was fun. It's the the reward that I get is seeing them succeed and having fun. I would never expect to be any monetary reward or anything like that because that's not why we do it. This is not the sport to think I'm going to get paid back with all the money that I put out. No. Seeing everyone succeed, whether your robot wins a match or you put it in the cage and it does what it's supposed to do, uh, you can gauge what success is to you. But to me, if a robot does exactly what I designed it to do, that's success. And seeing someone else succeed is just as rewarding as seeing myself succeed. So I think that is, to me, is what is the most rewarding part about the sport. Seeing us all succeed, even though there are competitors.
What about you, Mitch? Have you inspired someone? Have you been able to be there for someone?
I have spent a lot of events not competing. As I mentioned, I'm part of Team Stamina. Um, so, our other team members, Chris, Johnny, Lars, Alex, they've always, I've been at plenty of events where they have robots and I don't. And so I'll find myself just sitting there working on other people's robots. For example, September of 24, Johan on our team, lovely guy, I love him, had brought his robot Dreamline and needed some help fixing it up. It was, he was struggling with it a little bit. I get a message a couple days before the event. Hey, can you print this? And I did. I brought it over. Okay, part doesn't fit in the robot. And so I went down to the shop and then I went and drilled out holes in it, got it all ready. But seeing Dreamline work was just so great because I knew that he was struggling and I was able to kind of use the fact that I was there, I was open. I can use that to help him. I was not winning the fights. I will never take credit for the fights. That was Johan's doing, but it just felt good to know that something that I was able to do was able to positively impact someone else's experience in the sport of combat robotics.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, got anything you want to add to this?
I feel like there's something that that we don't know that you're trying to drive out of us. I mean, I think everyone in this sport has I'm losing my words right now. I mean, someone that I look up to in the community is someone like a Jameson Go or a Matthew Bors, because there have been times where I've had questions and I've private messaged them and they could have basically ignored the message or they could have said sorry, I don't have the time, but they took the time and answered my questions. And so looking at these superstars, the ones that have really made a name for themselves within this sport, the ones that are winning the dumpsters and the championship, that I personally look up to. The fact that they'll take the time to kind of give a few minutes to the little guy to answer my questions is just, that's what is great about this community.
Yeah, no,
Someone-
I'm not doing any deep digging. It's just no, because it's just I kind of feel like there's been times that we've helped and there's times that we've been helped.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like there's like to kind of keep that going and stuff. Like you our listeners, listen very closely. Listen, I'm gonna get right up here and talk. Okay. Put down the time in the messages of like sometimes when you've been helped or when you've helped somebody else, and like play it forward and keep the good vibes going, of just the general, because this shouldn't be exclusive to combat robotics. This should be a human thing, basically just getting all together and being weird and kind of sailing through the universe together. Anyways, but no, So I wasn't really digging for anything. I was just kind of uh making sure we didn't drag anything out too long.
No, we
Also,
still have time.
there's one builder that I can think of that when I was first learning and getting into robots, that I went talked to, got a bunch of information from. That would actually be Corey here. When I was
Yeah.
still learning how to design robots, I hopped into a VC one day and very timidly like, "Oh, you're Corey. I love your robot synthesis." Now as I got to know him, I learned his total jerk. Hate the guy.
You know.
No, love you, Corey. But I've I feel like that's a great example here of how a mentor or a community overall, a team, whatever, right? I don't know if I'd still be fighting if it weren't for people like Corey, people like Johnny Sumpas, or the rest of Team Stamina, for example, people like Alex. And I think that it just goes to show how incredibly important it is to have a good mentor and a good um, community surrounding you.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, I don't think I say this enough. I thank you so much, especially when you challenge me on some things. Like we're designing the new 8, right? And then you're like, you come up with this crazy thing of like, what about make the tires in the back smaller? Like, yeah, that sounds like an
Yeah.
amazing idea. Let's do that.
And it's
And like
funny.
so the collaboration can make your idea even better.
Yeah, and this friendship all started with you popping into VC and asking what a brushless motor was.
Oh my God. That seems
Uh
so long ago.
It's so
yeah,
sad that he still
absolutely.
hasn't learned, but you know.
I know. That's
I
brushless motor all
busted.
day.
Yes. I think there was some, I mean, there's a lot of people that are kind of behind the scenes. Ultimately, I think in regards to the NHRL, I think the people we have to thank most are the people like Kelly, Austin McCord, Gil, and the people that keep NHRL actually running. They're losing money, but they still are putting their everything into this because they want to see this succeed. It gives us a place to be those quarterbacks. Because growing up, electronics isn't cool. It's no, we're the people pick glass at dodgeball or whatever analogy you want to use. The NHRL makes us the stars. It makes us the quarterbacks, the receivers, all the people that were never the ones that they want our autographs. They look at us as inspiration. So I want to thank Kelly and Austin and everyone that keeps the NHRL afloat. I think the thing that they're doing is the first of its kind, where they're taking it and going above all else. I'm not trying to say all the other leagues and all the other places that are set up events are doing it wrong. I think the NHRL are just doing things at a higher level that they're trying new things. They're not getting everything right. However, the fact that they're trying these things and finding, oh, this doesn't work. Okay. So it gives us a chance to understand what does work. And I'm not saying I was one of the first people at Norwalk. I've been around this community for NHRL since 2020, so 5 years. So from it starting off as a industrial building with one cage and curtains and a small set of bleachers to what it is now is phenomenal, and it wouldn't be where it is without this entire community, the people that keep NHRL running, and the competitors that keep coming back, trying to put on a great show, us helping each other, trying to improve our robots to make the show better. I think if we were able to inspire each other to want greater things or find where you fit in all of this, because there's not necessarily one fits all. There's hundreds of different places within this community that it's very easy to find where you do fit.
Yeah, you either fit in 3 pound, 12 pound, or 30 pound. That's where you fit. It's fine.
I'm actually at 130. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, I
130 grams.
Yes.
130.
Yes.
We only
I did-
judge you by your weight. No, wait a minute.
Sorry,
That's awesome.
sorry about my monologue, guys.
Oh, perfectly fine. We like monologues here.
Yes. Um. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say, but just be good to each other.
Be excellent
Be
to
be
one another.
excellent.
Um, three nerdy guys talking about stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Um, One kind of touching back on what was initially said in the beginning, when I was talking to Johnny about it, and the things that Alex has taught people in this community and the people that looked up to him, I think it would do him a disservice if we didn't try to inspire and aspire to be um uplifting like Alex
Yeah.
was to all of us.
Absolutely. He held it very close to him that he wanted to be almost a teacher to some extent. He wanted to, not professionally, but he wanted to take what he knew. He recognized the fact that yeah, he had a lot of skills in combat robotics and engineering as a whole, and he really wanted to kind of push that towards other people of the community and kind of help other people get to the level that he was at.
I do wish I got to meet him a little bit more.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right, that's been a fun chat. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say?
I'm all
Uh,
set.
nah. Be good, nerds. Word nerds.
Be excellent, nerds.
Be
Later.
excellent. You know.
Thank you all for watching. It's been really fun. If you have any suggestions for what we should talk about next, who we should talk to next, let us know in the comments below. And yeah, be excellent, nerds.
Yeah.
And this is the colony.